Okay, so we're continuing Daas Tevunos, and so we spoke about how he said that in order to appreciate Yichud Hashem, which is mostly a negating quality, and that's going to come into more importance as we soon, that we have to. He spoke about 5 groups of people throughout history that made 5 basic errors in understanding Hashem's oneness, and so bringing out Yichud Hashem is in a way correcting those mistakes, right? So let's see. That's where we're up to. We're up to Amnam. I think Zehu Mashi Yeshlon Lahamin Be'amuna. Yeah, that's the last record. We didn't finish this number. Right? This is what we need to believe in faith. However, the revelation of this truth is what is going to be revealed from all the actions. Mikol habriyos u'mikol ha'avtochos. U'kamosh barnu le'el. So the revelation of Hashem's yichud, oneness, this is what Hashem really wanted. And based on that intent, based on that goal, that's how he designed all the creations. And all of the revolutions of the universe, meaning everything that happens in the world, also function based on this plan. This is what is necessary in order to come to this goal. Again, the goal of what? The goal of revealing Hashem's oneness. So we could say that really everything in the world, and everything that we can contemplate in it. So again, everything is based on this fulcrum, on this platform that the world and everything it creates is the platform to bring out the perfection of Hashem's oneness. That he wants to reveal it in front, before the eyes of all the creations. And now, if we fully understand how this mechanism of revealing Hashem oneness works, right? Now that we understand that everything in the creation is about revealing Hashem's oneness, and then if we understand how that mechanism of revealing Hashem's oneness works, then we will understand how the universe works. Because since the whole universe is created to accomplish this goal, right? So we will understand that how they are arranged and what they are based on. Okay? And we'll see as we go along. When Hashem wanted to create the world, so everything that Hashem created, I'm not sure what he adds to this point. I mean, he's adding chesronos, but he's saying that, one second. Right. So he's saying that nothing else would have enabled this design. Again, we're trying the difference about Maharal is that he's not just telling you how to become a good Jew, right? He's telling you what the design of the whole system is about, right? He's not telling you just how to use the system, but he's telling you why the design was done in such a way. So he's saying from this design is the whole idea of Hashem creating the Chisaron Ha'odam and perfecting him, and the whole idea of Avodas Hashem and his reward in the future, all of that, by definition, can only come from this idea of revealing Hashem's oneness. Okay, let's keep going. So now, Omar Neshama Lazeni Mitzapa B'Taiva Rabba, this is what I'm looking forward to with great desire. How all of this, right, the entire history, future history of the world, so to speak, and the whole system of Yiddishkeit basically all comes out from this one idea of revealing Hashem's oneness. So Omar Seichel, this is what we need to understand a lot. Is the idea of chisaron that exists in the creation. Inyan haroyos, so which is what's a chisaron? Chisaron is a type of evil, right? Meaning again, so we're back to this this original question that the neshama wanted to know from the beginning, right? How could evil exist in the world, right? And that's why he said we can't understand it. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't understand tzaddik v'ra'aloi, right? Mm-hmm. But we're going to understand it to some degree in general. So he says, so now this is the thing that we really need to drill down deeply about. How is it that evil exists? Because these are things that exist that are incompatible with the idea of God's perfection. Which is why the groups that we mentioned before, they made a mistake. Right? The 5 different groups that existed, the reason why they made a mistake is because they saw something in the universe that was incompatible with God's perfection and incompatible with God's oneness. Each one according to his way. Just like we explained to you above. Because certainly according to God's perfection, he only should have created goods, meaning good things. But now I will hopefully explain it to you clearly. When we say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Yochid, again, let's translate for the word Yochid. Yochid is not exactly the same as Echad. Mm-hmm. Right? What's the difference between Yochid and Echad? Right? Echad is one, Yochid is only. Okay? Right? So again, that's going to be important. So Echad is one, Yochid is only. So when we're talking about Hashem's oneness, what we really are talking about is Hashem's onlyness. Okay? So, Kishono Amrim Sha'Kodesh Baruch Hu Yochid, that Hashem is the only, Haloi Onu Mevinim She'ein Zulosoi. Isn't that clearly what we're trying to say is that there's nothing outside of him, beside him. There's no power. Right? She'ein Hefech Loi, which also means there's nothing opposite of him. She'ein Loi Marineya, and there is nothing preventing him, right, that can stand up to him. Ula'afuke Mekol Oisum Hasvarish Zacharnu, which already, right, includes the idea, the negation of all those other ideas that were wrong, right? So again, so Hashem's onlyness, as the concept of Hashem's onlyness, has this built-in feature, the negation of all the things that are incompatible with Hashem's onlyness. Okay? One second, I'm sorry. Yeah. So when it comes to Hashem's onlyness, it's not enough to just establish the good, the positive quality. You also have to negate the negative quality. Okay? So again, so let's give a the word Hagdama, like a preface to what we're about to say, because this point is hard for me to, hardest to put in the whole sefer to understand, right? So all other qualities, let's say quality of wisdom, right? So quality of wisdom, what's wisdom? Wisdom is the opposite of foolishness, right? So you have a spectrum of foolishness, which is the negative quality, and you have a spectrum of wisdom, which is the positive quality, right? And wisdom, there's lots of wisdom in this direction, there's lots of foolishness in that direction. So the entire concept of wisdom, foolishness is this spectrum, right? So you can understand wisdom as not foolishness, and you can understand foolishness as not wisdom, right? But in essence, they are opposite quality. I don't know, I should say. The wisdom is a positive quality, right? It's not a negative quality, meaning I don't primarily understand wisdom as not foolishness. I primarily understand wisdom as something wise. Okay, right? So in other words, so wisdom is a quality, is a concept as I understand it in positive terms, not in negative terms. Shabbos, for example, again, Shabbos. Let's say Shabbos. Shabbos is a positive quality in a certain sense, but it's a positive quality that I understand in negation, right? I don't do work. I remove things. I remove my certain activities, and as a result of my removing certain activities, a certain positivity of Shabbos comes out, right? So certain qualities I understand through negation. Certain qualities I understand through, positivity. Now, we can never understand Hashem through positive qualities. There is nothing we can say positive about Hashem. Hashem is wise. Those meaningless. We don't know what that means. Hashem is kind. Again, meaningless. We don't know what that means. There is no positive quality that we could say about Hashem. The only thing we could say about Hashem is a negative quality. Ein Sof. Hashem is no finity, right? Infinite, right? That's a negative quality. Do we fully understand what infinity means? No, but we just know whatever we do understand that's not finity is true. How far is it true? But the point is, every time we say Hashem is infinite, we don't fully understand, again, the concept of infinity, but we know that it means no end. That whatever this end is, that's not applicable to Hashem. And so it's never ending negation of finitude, right? So we can never say anything positive about Hashem. We could only say something negative about Hashem, meaning negative in the sense that negation, right? Not this. He's not physical. He's not, right? Okay. So Hashem's idea of yichud, right, of yichud Hashem, of His onlyness, again, that's why I said not oneness, but His onlyness, is a quality that's primarily expressed as a negative quality. It's a quality that He's not two, and He's not, what's the word? He doesn't have anybody who's against Him. He's in control. He's, when he makes a promise, he sticks to it. Right, all of those qualities that negate, again, all of the falsehood, that is all covered by the umbrella of Hashem's onlyness, right? So it's unique amongst Hashem's qualities that it is primarily defined as negation as opposed to a positive quality, okay? Which is what gives us the ability to fully sort of keep on drawing water from it, because no matter what is, because whatever more negation we can negate, right, the more we bring out, so to speak, the idea of what that yichud means, right? So the more Holocaust, whoa, crazy. We understand how it fits into the picture. Wow, it's great. Any additional element in the world that says this can't be Hashem, and then you, right, turn it around. No, it is Hashem. Hein, like the Gemara says, with the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, they wanted to do away with Gibor, right, Hashem's strength, because where is Hashem? Where is your strength, Hashem? Right, the whole, your house is being destroyed, and you're quiet. Right, and then they realize, no, hein gvuroi. So that is His strength. That quietness is an expression of strength, right? So again, you're taking something that may look like a stira, a contradiction to the concept of Hashem's yichud, because yichud again implies total control, and then you turn around. No, that's part of the master plan. Oh, okay. So then it builds the idea of yichud, right? So that's in a sense coming to introduce is that our whole history of the world is just various, various ways we can continue negating the contradictions to Hashem's yichud. Okay, now let's see all that inside. So hine, so at amna mata avincha kol al burav. Hine kishonu oim shekadosh baruch hu yochid. When Hashem is only, haloi ono mevinim shein zuloso. There's nothing besides him. Shein hefech loy. There's nothing opposite him. Shein loy moineya. There's nothing that could stand up to him. Ulu afukim mikol ois masvorish zacharna. And that goes against all of those those 5 mistakes that we have mentioned. Nimtza shloi daile kain bois baruch hatoy. It's not enough to just establish Hashem's goodness, but rather we need to negate the opposite of Hashem. Perush derech moshel begeder hachachma. When it comes to delineating the idea of wisdom, ein shaykh hasichlus. There is no purpose of stupidity. Meaning, you don't need to delineate the concept of chachma by utilizing the concept of foolishness. Okay, you can delineate the concept of chachma, like I said, in positive ways, and you don't need to express chachma through its negation of sichlus, of foolishness. Because the idea of chachma is that the mind is full of properly based concepts. Right? So Chokhmah can be expressed as something that, whatever the qualities of wisdom are, some positive qualities of wisdom. B'derech Chassidus, same thing with kindness. Ein shaykh hara, there is nothing to do, we don't need to discuss evil. Ki gidroi hu, what's the definition? Halasa is tov v'makoil, to do good with all. So in other words, we can define the concept of chesed through its positive, through some positive means. However, when it comes to the concept of Hashem's onlyness, that already precludes in its very definition the opposite of yichud. The very basic definition of Hashem's onlyness only means she'ein acher imoy, that there is no other with him. Right? Harei shegeder shar hamaylos hukiyum hatoiv mitzad atzmai. So when it comes to all other qualities of Hashem, they are represented by the positive idea of that quality. V'geder hayichud, however, the concept of yichud, of Hashem's onlyness, is primarily shlilas hara, is the negation of evil, okay, or negation of negativity. So ata hinecharoi. So therefore, you see, sheim hoya roitza kodesh baruch hu legalis kol shar mailas shleimus. So now you see that if Hashem wanted to reveal all other aspects of His perfection, kivan shehem kulam rek mailas shalatoy, since they are all expressions of good, of positivity, ein begidram alakiyum hatoy. So therefore, He only needed to do that, to express those positive qualities through expression of positive qualities. And He didn't need to resort to any sort of presence of evil in order to reveal His goodness. He could have just done good. He didn't need to first do evil and then do good. He could have just done good. Right? However, since He wanted to reveal His onlyness, since within that definition, within that concept, within the framework of that concept, you need to negate evil. So therefore, then it kind of opens the possibility to introduce Ra into the creation, and then to cut it out. Min hametzias, from that creation, samuchrach hamuchrach v'hashlita. Right? So that all aspects of yichud are fully fleshed out and fully revealed by negation of the contradiction. Well, okay, good. That's what he's saying, right? So in other words, since Yichud encompasses negative quality, that also creates the possibility for the negative quality to exist. And why do we need the possibility for the negative quality to exist? Again, that goes back to the original point, because then it gives us the creations to be in control of something, to do something, to contribute to that negation of quality, and therefore also earn a reward as part of that project, right? So Hashem created a project that allowed, right, there's a moving train, and we are going to get schar because we're going to be helping the train move along to reveal that yichud, right? And I don't make a mistake to say, shigam lo says biur lechachma tzorich leharis asichlus. Don't make a mistake to say that in order to fully flesh out the idea of chachma, of wisdom, tzorich leharis asichlus, you need to, by contrast, display foolishness, right? V'chein levayra chasidus, and also to explain chesed, tzorich leharis hadzorius. You gotta by juxtapose it with cruelty, because you can only fully appreciate an opposite by its opposite, right? The contrast will flesh things out. So every concept is expressed through its opposite, right? Why are you telling me only that Yichud Hashem is expressed only by its negation? Every concept is expressed through its negation. So he's saying, no, tzarich lehavin shekol mailas hatoiv ein lanu lehavinam ela mailas hatoiv lefi mashu toiv. Every positive quality can be understood only through the positive qualities. And the negation of its opposite, they are not by definition part of the defining feature of that thing. It's hard to explain, right? Meaning, yeah.
No, I'm talking about like King David, that he pretended to be,
right.
not like he said that he couldn't understand why it's needed, but when he pretended to be like not exactly, so then he understood how useful it is to have dumb people.
Right.
So so here like it's actually like evil helps understand good, because evil happens to be good. You know what I'm talking about.
Follow.
You know what? What is it? Tachman? Well, he pretended to be.
Yeah, no, I understand the story, but
yeah, but
I'm just saying the way I'm seeing it like this. Look, let's say I want to write letters.
yeah,
Right. There are two ways. Let's say any manufacturing process, right? There are two ways to create anything. There is 3D printing, right, where it creates whatever picture you want, whatever shape you want. It's called an additive process. And then there is, most manufacturing is not 3D printing. Most manufacturing, you remove the extra pieces around, and by removing the extra pieces around, some concept comes out.
Okay.
Right? So the question he's saying, the way I'm understanding it, is that every concept is given to you as an additive process. Okay? I explained to you the definition of that process by giving you what are the features of this process. Right? Yichud is explained by the other process, the eliminating process. So Yichud is explained through elimination. Wisdom, chesed, is explained through addition. Addition.
Is this because there is a way to verbalize and describe chesed?
Right.
I understand you can't put into normal words the
you don't need to come on to cruelty, the opposite of chesed, in order to appreciate chesed.
Right. Okay.
It's true that you might be able to appreciate the full concept of chesed, or it will. What's the word? You'll feel it better by comparing it to something else, just because you have no other frame of reference. but it's not necessary for the very existence of the concept. Mashenkin yichud, by definition, is primarily as a negation, an elimination concept, as opposed to an additive concept. Okay, that's what he's saying. But now he's saying he's adding a new incredible. Again, this is besides it's already incredible. This whole whole framework. Again, it's just the I don't know how to say it. The logical necessity of the whole structure is it's remarkable, right? But he's adding a new flavor over here, and he's saying that more than that. He's saying more than that. He's saying that now he's going to say that all other qualities of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, whether it's chesed, wisdom, whatever the qualities that we don't fully understand, they can still be understood through the prism of Yichud. Okay? Because Yichud now will become the prism that also incorporates all those other qualities as well.
It's the umbrella.
Right. So this is what he's saying now. He's saying, Tzorich lehavin shekol ma'al satov, all qualities that are good, ein lono lehavinam ela ma'alos hatov lefi mashu tov. We understand them through good, for what it is, good. And the negation of the opposite of those things, right? They're not required for the concept of the good things. However, they all together nichnosim tachas geder hayichud. They all together enter into the definition of Hashem's yichud, of Hashem's onlyness, right? Because onlyness applies not only to Hashem's quote-unquote existence, but it applies to His only in every other possible way, right? In chesed, in wisdom, in Hashem's onlyness is all-encompassing, right? Shehu shlilas kol ma shehu zulosai. So therefore, any negation, when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all part of that concept of yichud, of Hashem's onlyness. V'kulam mine hasug hazeh yechshava. So as a result, these other qualities of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we don't fully understand, we can understand them through negation, through the prism of yichud. Right? They are like categories within yichud. And whoever who wants to understand should not mix different categories. I'm not sure what he's adding with that line. How do they translate?
The person who wishes to gain a proper understanding of this matters must not confuse one category with another one. Can I have Haggah here?
Yeah, what does the note say?
What we understand of all of God's perfect attributes is only His oneness. All these attributes are therefore subcategories of His oneness.
Right.
We must not make the mistake of thinking that we understand these attributes for what they actually are, and put them in an independent category of His infinite attributes of perfection. In order to define God's attributes for what they are, we would need to define them positively. This is not possible since they're infinite and perfect.
Right.
However, God's perfect and infinite oneness is defined negatively by the negation of evil. It is therefore possible for us to understand it.
I don't know what's about this. I'm not sure I didn't follow it.
Didn't really.
I didn't. Meaning, I understand everything what the note said. I'm not, because we basically actually summarized what I just said. I think.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how that explains that particular line.
Make no mistakes. These are not independent subcategories. These are not independent.
Right, but that he says in the previous line, "V'kula mine hasug hazeh yechshavu," that they are all subcategories within yichud.
Yeah.
But then he's telling you some additional thought that if you want to understand, you need to not mix them up. I'm not sure what he wants with that particular line. if you want to understand what?
Of these matters.
I'm not sure. Okay, well, I'll have to come back to that. Okay, so this is the key. This is the key element. Okay, this is what makes yichud such a unique quality. How it's the quality that we fully understand, and more than that, it's the quality that becomes the prism for understanding all other qualities of Hashem. So Omra Neshama. So Neshama responds, I certainly understand that understanding is dependent on distinction. Right? Understanding is, right, the whole process of understanding is built on the process of distinction. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, understanding is categorizing. Categorizing, it means separating one thing from the other based on the features, right? V'kol hasugim u'mineihem tzorich lehavdilam zeh mezeh. And all the different categories and their subcategories, you need to separate one from the other. Kidei lahavin inyanam, in order to understand their nature. The inyan ha'toldos and their consequences, hanoldos mihem, that result from them. And even though Hashem's wisdom is not at all like the ways of mankind, that all of these categories that we are talking about, the whole concept of categorization is within our human logic. But we are humans, and so we have to speak the way humans speak. So he's setting up something that so neshama just basically alley-ooped something to the next part of the seichel, right? So in other words, I mean, you'll see in a second. So again, beautiful. It's just beautiful the way the Ramchal's mind works. Okay, so Omer Seichel Yoisrim Masha Marta. Now, right? So he's picking up from what Neshama said. Again, Neshama said that the whole idea of categories and categorization that we are doing, and we're doing a great job, but that's all within our human intellect, within the world that Hashem set up. Omer Seichel Yoisrim Masha Marta. I'm going to go built on that more than what you said. Omer Lechot Binyan Zeh. I will tell you about this. Ki emeshu Vaday, it is true that HaKadosh Baruch Hu yochel livrei olama b'derech kol yichol toya. Hashem could have created the world according to His all what's the word? His all powerful abilities, right? Hashem could have created the world in the way of toihu, so to speak. I'm adding, right? Where chaos, that we couldn't understand, not present and not prior, without cause and effect, right? The whole idea of cause and effect is a creation that Hashem created, right? Hashem could have created a world without any cause and effect, right? And Hashem would have created a world that had no time, no priorities, no organization whatsoever, right? He would basically close the mouths of all creations. They wouldn't be able to say anything regarding Hashem's creations. Because it would not be possible for us to understand His way at all. Because if Hashem would have created the world according to His quote-unquote properties, no other creation could possibly comprehend His properties, right? Because that's part of onlyness, right? It's not understandable by a person whose mind is limited and organized within certain what's the word? Certain structure, right? Structure cannot comprehend lack of structure. Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted that humans should be able to understand a little bit from his ways and his actions. The adrab, and just the opposite. Rotza, he wants that we put an effort on this. And we pursue pursue this knowledge and understanding very much. Al-Kain, therefore, bocher liyos poil adrab derech min yodam. So therefore, he chose to create the world in the ways of mankind. Pirush, in other words, what does mean mankind? He created mankind, but meaning beseder musagumuv, meaning he designed the creation with such a way that he will create the creations that will be able to understand the world that they find themselves in. Right? He created the creation from within its own parameters. I don't know how to say that.
Parameters of the world.
Right. Not his parameters, but
Right.
limited within its own limitation. Right? Okay. So the general principle is that he wanted to do actions lifi erech hanivraim, according to the state of the creations, right? The created ones, lo lifi erkoi, not according to his nature. So therefore, he gave us a place to contemplate upon these actions. And so that we can understand a little bit, if something of what's happening. And the proof of this is the fact that Hashem started his whole Torah of Ma'aseh Bereshis, which is divided into days, right? Shom made al atzmai. So therefore, he's basically revealing about himself, divided into days, in different statements, sayings, right? And in the way that he wanted it. It didn't just in one flash create the entire thing, right? As the Mishnah says, right? Hashem could have created the world with one mimer, right? But rather, why did he create it with 10 maimarim, with 10 sayings? So the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, I couldn't have, right? The first Mishnah in the 5th paragraph of Pirkei Avos says, he could have created it with one maimer. Why did he create it with 10 maimarim? Rather to give schar for tzaddikim who help him build the world, right? And punish the Rishonim that help to destroy the world, right? So in other words, it's Ramchal in one line over here tells you how he understands that whole Mishnah, that if he would have the difference between creating it with one mimer versus creating it with 10 mimer. 10 mimer means an orderly system. One mimer means whatever, right? And as a result of creating it within an orderly system of 10 memories of hierarchy and order and laws of nature, he allowed for the whole concept of avodas Hashem to take place in the world, and therefore to give schar for tzaddikim and to punish the Rishonim, right? In other words, the whole possibility of avodah was enabled by the 10 memories of Ma'aseh Bereshis. And now we need to differentiate b'chol puloisov, right? To identify all the different actions, v'taimehem, and their reasons, v'kol shekain b'tol desei, and certainly within their results, kol hasugim v'aminim v'haprotim, all the different characteristics and types, k'chol haseder hanishmar b'darkei bnei odam, just like all of the seder that is guarded by the ways of mankind. In other words, so maybe this is what he's trying to say over here, back to that sentence, is that part of Yichud Hashem, since all other qualities of Hashem are now incorporated into the concept of Yichud, and the concept of Yichud allows us to understand this, right? The whole world, as he said, Hashem created the world within our framework. So it is our mission to understand as much as we can understand within this framework. Part of understanding, as the Neshama told us, is being able to identify qualities according to their specific, unique features. So therefore, just like we say, oh, this is the din of Hashem, this is the chesed of Hashem, right? In other words, we identify, oh, Hashem Elakim, Hashem, right? Different features of Hashem, of qualities of Hashem that we by themselves don't understand those qualities, but within the framework of Yichud and within the framework of the world, which is sensible and logical, it is part of our avodas Hashem to be able to identify which characteristics of Hashem are being expressed through this action, which, right, not just Yichud Hashem, but within Yichud Hashem, the other characteristics as well, to have a better understanding of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Through the prism of Yichud, we get a picture into the other qualities as well, and therefore, as we analyze the world, okay, this is the din of Hashem, this is the chesed of Hashem, this is the temporary din for the future chesed, and so to speak, that's how we see that's what he's saying. So we need to keep the categories, yes, thank you. The categories separately, so that we understand what each one is coming to do.
In Derech Hashem, he spoke about a speklaria. Remember that this is like a sustained glass, some sort of a prism that.
Right, but that's as far as knowing Hashem and prophecy. I mean, I don't know if that. I mean, I hear, but because over here he seems to be, especially over here, it says Kal v'chomer b'toldosehem. He means to say that it's easier for us to comprehend in the outcomes, right? We see how this action, I don't know, Russia got punished. It's pretty easy to understand. Oh, that's Hashem's justice coming to. We don't understand Hashem's justice, but we understand that that's a meed of Hashem's justice coming to be expressed.
Or he gave us instructions if somebody who steals, he does.
So we do that, right? We express, we've right, exactly right. We express that midah. We become the agents for that midah, right?
By building the world and through the Tan Memorim, he kind of left us. He gave. That's just my understanding. He put all these categories within our reach, or at least we have a hypothetical, theoretical ability or possibility of trying to understand. If it was just one thing, the human mind would just not be able to tap into it.
Right. And again, because we're understanding him through Yichud, so we're primarily understanding him through negation, as opposed to through positive qualities. Okay, let's see how far they're going to get here. It was a long. This point doesn't really end for a while. Okay, I think this is probably a good place to stop. Okay, all right, let's call it a day.